Afternoon, children. How are you? Now, I refer to you as children because every single last one of you doesn't seem to realize that nobody likes the hero. Why do you guys always worship the hero? In my opinion, the villain is the greatest person ever. And you know why the villain's the greatest person ever? Because without a great villain, you have no great hero. I mean, stop to think about it. Superman, one of the quote-unquote greatest heroes of all time. You know who he used to fight? The elements. Because it was the only villain they could frickin' come up with. You realize how ridiculous you have to be in order to not have a villain? And it wasn't just like a gimmick thing. It was, he, no joke, had too many and too much power that he could not fight a single person. They had to make the most BS character known to man named Doomsday to kill him. And even then, Superman didn't die. Superman became, and a lot of you will agree with this and a lot of you will disagree with it, but that's the point. He became the Jesus Christ of the comic book world. Superman died. They buried him in a cave. They went back to check on him. He wasn't there anymore. Superman became Jesus Christ. Not too many people could say that they're Jesus Christ. Just Jesus and Superman. Alright? Oh, and apparently there's some televangelist who claims to be the reincarnation of him, but don't listen to him, children. He's just trying to take your money. He is a televangelist after all. But the point I'm getting at is, how can you love the hero without loving the villain? And I happen to have a list of some of my favorite villains. Like, of course, everybody's favorite, the Joker. And you want to know why I like the Joker? It's not just because he's insane. It's not just because he's a sadistic, psychotic prick. Nah. No. Because that's how most villains should be. They're sadistic, they're psychotic, they'll do anything to get their means. Just whatever they need. Hey, look, you see that $50 million over there? I want it. I'm going to take this lamp, shove it up your butt, turn it on, and fry you and electrocute you. You know why? Because I think it'd be the best way to get to the money. And that's how a villain should be. But the reason why the Joker's the best is because nobody realizes the Joker has an insane IQ. You don't believe me? Go back to Batman Beyond, the Joker Returns episode. Now, granted, it was a mini-movie, but I still consider it an episode. When you stop to think about it, Joker took Tim Drake, Third Robin. He implanted upon him, while he was torturing him, in the most diabolical, sadistic mean, like the way he just, the way he tortured this kid, it was horrible, man. Nobody should have gone through it. But at the same time, he also did torture the last Robin and kill him. So I guess he did have to step himself up one more. But on top of torturing him, he gave him a little mole on the side of his face. Nothing too big, just a little tiny one. On that mole was a microchip. You know who made that microchip? The Joker himself. Because he said so. He made the microchip. It was meant to dig into his skin, go in, send a signal in through into the back of his skull and mess with his brain. So that way then, Tim Drake, as an older man, would become the Joker himself. Not only would it change his voice and his mind, it literally changed his physical appearance. Because in the Joker's mind, he looks exactly how he looks. The green hair, the white face. Now granted, Heath Ledger, upped it a bit with the big red, scar tissue. But the big goofy red smile. He went all out. And it's because that's how the Joker's mind is wired. Everybody has their own vision of who and what they are in their mind. You close your eyes and you envision yourself, that's what you see. You look in a mirror, it's not always exactly what's pictured in your mind. Because everybody does it for everybody else. Now, what makes it even more fun is not only does the Joker have a high IQ and a high tech degree, but he's also a really hilarious guy. And if you can make, somebody like me laugh the way that the Joker can, you're alright in my book. But then again, I also have a dark, sadistic sense of humor, which most of you may or may not know. Y'all know now, but I have a pretty damn dark sense of humor. Trust me, plenty of dead baby jokes have flown amongst my group of friends because of the dark sense of humor that we had in high school, and I still continue to have. One of my other favorites, and I might hear, a little bit more of some grumbling and some more, complaints, but Final Fantasy VI, greatest villain ever. Hands down, nobody can top him, not even the Joker. Kefka. And some of you are saying, well, I played the city, he didn't seem that badass. Yeah, but you know what you didn't get to play? You didn't get to play Final Fantasy VI, where Kefka kills an entire castle full of people by poisoning the river, when his own men said, sir, you shouldn't do that. There are women and children at that castle. There's an entire village downstream. You'll kill everybody. And he says, I know. Kick. And knocks the barrel into the water. Kefka was so insane and power hungry and bloodthirsty that they went to the Chaos Shrine, a place that no mortal should be allowed to be at. They make it to the Chaos Shrine. The world is balanced within this area. The general who was over Kefka, who had higher knowledge of magic than Kefka, goes, lit 3. And Kefka goes, oh shit, I should be dead. And because he was standing within the magical barrier, it became null and void. Kefka goes, my magic is stronger. Lit 5 doesn't exist, by the way. Lightning level 5 does not exist, but he still says, Lit 5, done. And kills this man. He toys with him at first, but he kills him. Now, granted, some of you are going to argue with me because my facts aren't 100%, and I'll agree with you. But at the same time, he does mess with this man. And then he has the nerve to kick this shrine over here, and grab this shrine and move it over there, and grab this one and push it way over there, thus throwing the balance of the world out. Because as everybody knows, within the Japanese culture, there is a triangle of power. And most of you know it because of The Legend of Zelda and the Triforce. But it is a common-based knowledge in Japan that the world power is based off 3 focal points. Almost like how our American government is. Where if this branch of government and this branch of government can't get the fuck along, the president can step in and say, hey, both of you play fucking nice or else. The president says, hey, I'm going to make this, and he hands it to this branch. This branch goes, yeah, I'll allow that. And he sends it to this branch. If this branch doesn't like it, it don't go. That's the power. Okay? Now, the Chaos Shrine holds the power of the world. He moved it and shifted the world into chaos, death, and destruction. If you fail, and there aren't many people who lose in Final Fantasy, but if you play Final Fantasy VI, you are not a high enough level, you do not have the right equipment, you do not have any of the required spells, you walk into the final fight where you play as every single last character that you have and fight him. If he wipes out your team, game over. Kefka becomes a god, thus following the old creed. Kill a man, you're a murderer. Kill many, and you're a conqueror. Kill them all, you become a god. In order to have become a god means that he is the highest class ranking villain known to mankind. No one has ever reached god status as a villain. Many have reached it as a superhero and been given god class status. Trust me, the comic book world is full of them. Now granted, some of them already started out like a god like Thor did, but Others have been granted God-class status. Kefka is the only villain to have said, I am a god, and those who do not like it shall deal with it. And you did deal with it. Now, granted, the point of the game is to win. So, technically, he does not become a god. However, he does reach godly status. He reaches the form of a celestial being, and then you strike him down dead. He only makes it to demigod, in truth. But if you fail, he becomes a god. And with the way that, the Dissidia world is working, Kefka can come back. And not only can he destroy everybody from 6, but everybody from 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 17, 157, since they're never going to stop making Final Fantasy, which is another argument I'll get to later. Actually, I think all of us are getting to that argument later in the 4 Chairs episode. Because it is the Final Fantasy, which means it should be the end, but it keeps going. But he can kill from 6 up and from 6 back. And in the past, they were more hardcore and even stronger than before. Pardon me. Now, to get to my final thought, the absolute, hands down, one of my favorite villains known throughout the entire kingdom of the world. All you motherfuckers who happen to be lawyers in the copyright field. Because copyright lawyers are the greatest villains known to man. Not only do they stop people from posting good AMVs on YouTube, but they keep everybody else on YouTube from saying anything and doing anything creative. Because, well, you said this and you said that, and they might sue. We're taking your shit off. But I said nothing but good things about it. I don't care. We're taking it off. And for those of you who upkeep on all the different stuff like that for the copyrights, and instantly pulls videos off the internet, and instantly tells people that they have to censor themselves, and instantly has to say, hey, we don't like what you're doing. Knock it off. You're the greatest villain known to man because of all of your legal BS, keeping everybody from being as creative and expressive as they should be. Now, granted, there are some things that little children shouldn't get their hands upon, and I completely understand that. But in order to deny somebody an AMV, or deny somebody a music video, or to deny somebody their own creative talent simply because they're paying homage to something or someone that they love and admire and respect and enjoy, that's cold-hearted. That's cold-blooded. And it's horrible that you're set up in every single country and every single continent and all over the world, and all your job is hey, look, they made something creative. Mine, break, stomp, lighter fluid, light it on fire, pull down pants, and take a dump on it. I just crushed their hopes and dreams. So as Kefka said, take this and deal with it. Because this is simply my opinion. But most of you will agree with my opinion. Simply because I present a good argument, don't I? Take what you will from it. I have spoken.